I yield back.
Thank you very much. Mr. Swalwell, you're recognized for 4 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman. Destini, just want to follow up and thank you for your advocacy, considering what happened to you and that you continue to lead this fight. How many funerals do you think you've gone to for gun violence?
The amount of funerals that I was supposed to go to, whether or not I was mentally capable of, I've attended 13 funerals for my friends, and that's in the last 4 years. There were 2 in which I did not attend because they happened back to back and I could not.
You've gone to 13 funerals for friends in the last 2 years who were killed by guns?
Yes.
You're 60.
And do your friends and you today worry that today could be your last day on earth because of the threat of gun violence?
If I'm being honest, a lot of us are scared, but a lot of us are so used to the idea that we just find it amazing that if we make it to our 18th birthday, it's just something that's like so casual, and like violence and death by guns is so normalized, and we're so numb to it that we're like, I'm desperately working for that not to be a norm in my community, because a lot of us will think like I could be next.
I went to Chicago a couple months ago, South Side neighborhood, and a young woman there told me that for most young men, the only time they'll wear a suit in their life is at their funeral. Is that kind of a sentiment that you see in Baltimore?
A lot of the times, yes, it is a sentiment that we'll see, and it's what's expected, but it's not the reality. And like I said, Baltimore isn't bad, it's broken. And a lot of people are doing, the necessary things. A lot of people do put on suits just to go to a job interview where they may or may not get the job, so.
And I guess I was just really addressing like the hopelessness that, so many people expect that before they're 18, they'll be a victim. So that's the sad side, and that's the real that you deal with every day. And you're strong, and you're here. Can you tell us what the time you have left, what people like you in your community and people like you, a young person across America, can do to make sure that people like my 2-year-old son and other people's children in America do not have to experience this in their schools, in their communities, anywhere where we gather? What can we do? How can we not live this way?
So, my friend Ray Glaslow III was murdered 3 weeks after we led a national walkout to D.C., a part of March for Our Lives. I think that the important thing to understand is that if we do go out and we do make our voices heard, then we will begin to implement change. And I'm not promising that it will come today or tomorrow or in 10 years, but we cannot afford to stay silent because we have a different narrative of what gun violence looks like and the solutions that we need to fix the problem. And a lot of us in Baltimore and in Chicago, because I work heavily with people in Chicago, we are desperately trying to implement and shift the narrative around gun violence so that it is inclusive, because gun violence is so multifaceted and we cannot afford to look at it from one angle and from one spec, and to simply want to implement one narrative into it. Because I might not know or have experienced mass shootings, but my friend has, right? And so the way that we go about it is the more that we implement each other's narrative, the stronger our argument is to implement this change into every community.
Beautifully said. Thank you, Destini.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you all for your very thoughtful and helpful testimony.